Hello, and this is Delia again, and I'm reading Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones, and this is part 4. This one's called Footsteps. Liz was doing her homework at the dining room table. Her younger sister Sarah was asleep upstairs. Their mother was out, but she was expected back any minute. When the front door opened and shut, Liz called, "Hello, Mama?" But her mother didn't answer, and the footsteps Liz heard were heavier, like a man's. "Who's there?" she called. No one replied. She heard whoever it was walk through the living room, then up the stairs to the second floor. The footsteps moved from one bedroom to another. Again Liz called, "Who's there?" The footsteps stopped. Then she thought, "Oh my God, Sarah's in her bedroom." She ran upstairs to Sarah's room. Only Sarah was there, and she was asleep. Liz looked in the other rooms, but found no one. She went back down to the living room, scared out of her wits. Soon she heard footsteps again. They were coming down the stairs into the living room. Now they went into the kitchen. Then the door between the kitchen and the dining room slowly began to open. "Get out!" Liz screamed. The door slowly closed. The footsteps moved out of the kitchen, through the living room, toward the front door. The door opened and shut. Liz ran to the window to see who it was. No one was in sight, nor were there any footprints in the fresh snow that had been falling. Okay, this one is called Like Cat's Eyes. As Jim Brand lay dying with his wife, what? I can't see. Let's see. As Jim Brand lay dying, his wife left him with his nurse and went into the next room to rest. She sat in the dark, staring into the night. Suddenly, Mrs. Brand saw headlights come rapidly up the driveway. "Oh no," she thought, "I don't want visitors now. Not now." But it wasn't a car bringing a visitor. It was an old hearse with maybe a half a dozen small men hanging from the sides. At least, that's what it looked like. That's scary. The hearse screeched to a stop, and the men jumped off and stared up at her, their eyes glowing with a soft yellow like cat's eyes. She watched in horror as they disappeared into the house. In an instant they were back, lifting something into the hearse. Then they drove off at high speeds, wheels squealing and the gravels in the driveway flying in all directions. At that moment the nurse came in to say that Jim Brand had died. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. We'll continue on to this next one. This one's called On the Edge. You will say that these stories could not happen, yet some say they did happen. Bess. John Nichols raised horses. He had many horses of all kinds, but his favorite was Bess, a gentle old mare he had grown up with. He had no longer rode her, for all she could do now was just amble along. Bess spent her days grazing peacefully in a meadow. That summer, for the fun of it, John Nichols went into a fortune-teller's booth. The fortune-teller studied her cards. "I see danger ahead of you," she said. "Your favorite horse will cause you to die. I don't know when, but it will happen. It is in the cards." John Nichols laughed. The idea that Bess would cause his death was nonsense. She was as dangerous as a bowl of soup. Yet from then on, whenever he saw her, he remembered the fortune-teller's warning. That fall, a farmer from the other end of the county asked if he could have Bess. He had been thinking that the old horse would be perfect for his children to ride. "That's a good idea," John said. "It would be fun for them, and it would give Bess something to do." Later, John told his wife about it. "Now Bess won't kill me," he said, and they both laughed. A few months later, he saw the farmer who had taken her. How's my Bess?" he asked. "Oh, she was fine for a while," the farmer said. "The children loved her. Then she got sick. I had to shoot her to put her out of her misery. It was a shame. Despite himself, John breathed a sigh of relief. He had often wondered if, in some crazy way, through some strange accident, Bess would kill him. It's weird. Now, of course, Now, of course, she could not. "I'd like to see her," said John, "just to say good-bye. She was my favorite." The bones of the dead horse were in a far corner of the man's farm. John knelt down and patted Bess's sun-bleached skull. Just then a rattlesnake, which had made its home inside the skull, sank its fangs into John Nichols' arm and killed him. So that fortune teller was right. Okay, and there will be more.